All right, so the day I'm filming this is in advance, as it usually is, and it is July 1st. So that means yesterday, the Supreme Court, which I don't really understand how politics work, and I don't really understand how the Supreme Court works, but as far as I know, it's a bunch of old people that are apparently appointed until they die, deciding what is happening in this country. So they have ruled that it is legal to discriminate against, like, for businesses to discriminate against LGBTQIA plus people. And if that is not concerning to you, it should be. Because on top of everything else that's happening in this country with the trans genocide actively going up to step 8, I believe we're at step 8, not just in Florida, like around the country. It's another step. It should concern you because it's another step in the direction of worse things to come. And honestly, I don't know how it's going to get worse, but they just keep surprising me. So what the fuck? They really had to nail it in on the last day of Pride as well. So we're going to do this video and we're going to take a minute and just breathe. We're just going to take this video and we're going to relax for a minute, and we're not going to focus on the absolute fucking nightmare that is this country just for a little bit. We need to get back out there. We need to keep fighting. We need to keep doing whatever the fuck we can. But at the same time, we have to rest, and we have to not want to scream and cry and rip our skin off, because that's where I'm at with all the constant doom and gloom news, you know? All right, let's get into the video. We're at that time of year where my air conditioner is in the window, so the lighting is only the overhead light in my bedroom. Oh no. Oh no. Hello Friendzies, welcome back to my channel. Sorry, I'm like a little bit distracted in that intro because people keep texting me and it's annoying. I need to turn everybody on Do Not Disturb. Today's video, I'm actually really excited about. I don't remember what video I was talking about it in. I know it was like fairly recent, and I think I specifically cut out the part because I like started going, good idea. But a video a couple weeks ago, maybe a month ago, I said something like, should I do a video where I'm like, kind of how would I describe myself but in books, and I want to do that so bad. So that's what this video is. It's basically like everything you need to know about me, but only through different books that I've read that are like up on my bookshelf. So I like, there's two themes to this. It's gay and like whimsy. gay whimsy and like fae. And I think that's all you need to know about me. Gay, whimsical, fae. All right, let me just get into the books. I've talked about a lot of these before, if not all of them, so if you've already heard about them, deal with it and watch the video anyway. So the first book I have that would like basically describe me as a person is Tithe by Holly Black, and it's a modern fairy tale. It says so on the cover, and this is my favorite book of all time. As a 27-year-old, this is my favorite book. Let me just read you the back. Welcome to the realm of very scary fairies. Now this book they're not scary to me, so I don't know. 16-year-old Kay is a modern nomad. Fierce and independent, she travels from city to city with her mother's rock band until an ominous attack forces Kay back to her childhood home. There, amid the industrial, blue-collar New Jersey backdrop, Kay finds herself an unwilling pawn in an ancient power struggle between two rival fae kingdoms, a struggle that could very well mean her death. This is my favorite book. I am obsessed with it. And it is, I mean, it says that, an ancient power struggle between two rival fairy kingdoms. So it is fae, and it's so fucking good. I won't spoil any of these. I'll try. If you want to read them, if you haven't already. I mean, this book, when did this book come out? What is your copyright date? So 2002. So this book has been out for a while, so I'm not going to spoil it, but also like you should definitely read it. It's so good. And this is my favorite book, and it's my favorite book for a reason. Holly Black specifically, I think I've said this in a video before, is like storytelling wise and like world building is absolutely an icon for me. Like this is somebody I just aspire to. Aspire. I aspire to like have the world building and the writing like talents of Holly Black. So the next book I have, so that is my favorite book as a 27-year-old who has read like, I couldn't tell you how many books growing up with my mother being a librarian and all. That is my favorite book of all time. I can say that. It goes above all of my books. The next book I have was my favorite book as a child. This was I've talked about like my favorite stories growing up when I was little, from like all the ones that are like here and like the paperbacks that are here. But this was my favorite book when I was a little girl, and I think like I feel like you'll just know when I tell you. You're gonna be like, yeah, that tracks. It is Alice in Wonderland by Lewis Carroll. This is actually my original copy of it, not when I was little. I don't remember what like copy I had when I was a little girl, but this is like the original copy that I've had for quite a few years. And then I have another copy up there, and it's like pink and pretty on the spine, and I had to keep both versions because hello, obviously. I'm very like sentimental, and also I love like hardcovers because I feel like they last longer, but then at the same time I like different versions. I just like, come on, man, it's Alice in Wonderland. Like, how can you not? This is the book of whimsy. This is the book of bullshit whimsy and like possibly madness, but who cares? It's fun. It's so fun, and I really love it. This was like I said, this was my favorite book when I was a little girl, and I think that shaped me into the person I am today. The next book I have is a queer book, and I love this book. This and another one that is not included in today's list, but this and another book, oh, you're getting sneak peeks of it, were two of the ones that I read that, well, actually were the two, not two of. The two books I read where when I finished reading them, I went, hey, maybe I'm not cis. So I feel like this is an important book to like describe who I am. It is I Wish You All the Best by Mason Deaver. I really love this book. It's just 3 words. I am non-binary, but that's all it takes to change everything. After coming out to their parents as non-binary, Ben DeBacker, I think that's how you say it, is thrown out of their house and forced to move with their estranged older sister Hannah and her husband Thomas, who Ben has never even met. Struggling with an anxiety disorder compounded by their parents' rejection, they come out only to Hannah, Thomas, and their therapist and try to keep a low profile in a new school. But Ben's attempts to survive the last half of senior year unnoticed are thwarted when Nathan Allen, a funny, charismatic student, decides to take Ben under his wing. As Ben and Nathan's friendship grows, their feelings begin to change, and what started as a disastrous turn of events looks like it might just be the chance to start a happier new life. At turns heartbreaking and joyous, I Wish You All the Best is both a celebration of life, friendship, and love, and a shining example of hope in the face of adversity. So one thing about me is not only am I queer, not only am I possibly not cis, I still haven't figured that out. I suffer a lot with thinking nostalgia is being honest with me. Nostalgia lies. In like the sweetest possible way, like let me be like your older queer for a minute and like guide you. Nostalgia lies. Nostalgia is a fucking liar. It always is like through rose-colored glasses. I am somebody that for multiple reasons had a very hard time throughout high school. Most people have a hard time throughout high school, but I had a very hard time throughout high school, and a lot of books that I read, like YA, contemporary, all that stuff, a lot of books I read are very much focused on teenagers in high school, and whether they're like outcasts or not, for the most part, the school part of it is not really the worst. It's like more of the relationships and like events that happen that are the conflict in the novel, not necessarily the being at school part. This also isn't like specifically being at school. It is, again, like their like Ben's life and their anxiety and things like that. But this, I think it helped too that the main character is queer and non-binary. This book felt more like it was written for me. And I'm saying that as like a 27-year-old being like, oh, a book about high school was written for me. But is it making sense what I'm saying? This book felt like my high school experience. This book felt more relatable to me looking back at high school. So it felt this like, I feel like if you want to know who I am, read this book and you'll get an idea, kind of. Am I making any sense saying that these books like describe me? I feel like, I don't know if they do. Okay? I don't know. I just feel like the next book I have is one of my absolute favorites from when I was growing up. And I read it when I was really young, and didn't like it. And then I picked it up again when I was like 17, 18 and loved it. So I don't know what was wrong with me. Maybe the first time I read it, I was in that like stage of thinking that like I had to be exactly like everybody else and I couldn't be interested in my like fun and whimsy and my K-pop and shit. But like, you know, it is The Secret of Platform 14 by Eva Ibbotson? Eva Ibbotson? I hope I'm saying that correctly. This is a newer version as well. I have my older version up. It's actually like this shelf right here. It's up there. I grabbed the newer version just because it's a little bit prettier and has like little pretty pictures on it. Although I do really like the cover of the other one as well. Oh, the author, not this book. It says Eva Ibbotson is perfect for fans of Harry Potter from the School Library Journal. I don't agree with that, but I've also never read any of their other books. So, Platform 13 is different. Under Platform 13 is one of London's busiest train stations, is an old doorway, but behind it is an entrance to a magical kingdom, an island where humans live happily with mermaids, ogres, and wonderful creatures. Carefully hidden from the world, the island is only accessible when the door opens for 9 days every 9 years. But when the beastly Mrs. Throttle kidnaps the prince of the island, only a strange band of rescuers can save him and the island. Can an ogre, a hag, a wizard, and a fae really sneak around London unnoticed? This is another one where world building and storytelling wise, this like book has shaped me as a storyteller, as an inspiring author. This book is like a foundation. These are like this, and again, Holly Black, Tithe. I can't pick it up. It's under the pile of other books. Hold on. These are both the type of world building and the type of storytelling that I really want to do. And it like, me wanting to be an author has been something I've wanted to do since I was 4 years old. I'm not actively pursuing that for reasons, as other authors will understand. But me wanting to be an author has been a thing since I was 4 years old. So it's books like this that have shaped me as a storyteller. Very important to me. All right, this next one is specifically from my young teens. I was like 12, 13 when I read this book for the first time. And again, as a queer youth, this was a book that absolutely shaped me. Not in a storytelling aspect, but just like as a person, as a queer person. So the next book I have is Boy Meets Boy by David Levithan. I'm so sorry if I'm saying any of these names incorrectly. This is a fucking, like, this is like Rocky Horror Picture Show for the gays. Like, this is a cult classic. Love is never easy, especially if you're Paul. He's a sophomore in high school like no other, and there are his friends. Infinite Darlene, the homecoming queen and star quarterback. Joni, Paul's best friend, who may or may not be his best friend anymore. Tony, his other best friend, who can't leave the house unless his parents think he's going on a date with a girl. Rip, the school bookie who sets the odds. I forgot what that means. Oh, wait, hold on. I missed one. Kyle, the ex-boyfriend who won't go away. Rip, the school bookie who sets the odds. And Noah, the boy, the one who changes everything. Love meets love. Confusion meets clarity. Boy meets boy. This was a book that we checked it out at my local library, me and like all of my friends, and we passed it around, and it was like something we talked about all the time because we were a group of queer kids that like maybe didn't necessarily know we were all queer at the time, didn't know what like kind of queer we were. It's copyrighted for 2003, which yeah, that makes sense. We were reading this in like 2009, 2010 around. That's when we were like reading this shit. So this genuinely, like, between me and my friends almost having like a little book club for it and just like reading it at a young age, and the way this book is written, it's like very, just like the way David Levithan like tells this story is just fucking incredible. This, like, again, this is something that absolutely shaped like my queer mindset and everything. This was around the same time too that I was on Tumblr, too young maybe, back in the 20-teens Tumblr. So I think this was good to have read back then because it was like a balancing act between the absolute awful takes that were showing up on Tumblr at the time and then this on the other end. It like balanced me out. The next book I've only read recently. This is like, I read this maybe a month ago when my mom and I went to the vacation that I like put up. I put a vlog up. The card will be up somewhere of us going to that place in Niantic, Connecticut, the Book Barn. Sneak peek of the book. Sorry. I was looking for this book specifically because when I turned 18 or 19, Mary and the Witch's Flower was like came out in theaters like on my it was on my birthday, like it was in theaters for like a limited time, and it was a very like beautiful story, and I absolutely loved it. It is not Studio Ghibli. It is, I'll put the name here, Studio something that I can't remember off the top of my head, and it's two people that used to work with Studio Ghibli, probably more than two, but you know what I mean, two people that were used to work with Studio Ghibli, and they took this story and told it in, you know, that kind of style. And I didn't know it was a book beforehand because I'm a chump and I didn't know any of these things. So I have The Little Broomstick by Mary Stewart. I will say, reading this, it was a little hard to get through because a lot of the language is like a bit older. But The Little Broomstick gave a leap, a violent twist, and a kick like the kick of a pony. Mary's been exiled to her great aunt's house deep in the countryside. Miserable and lonely, she befriends a black cat who leads her into the forest to an ordinary-looking little broomstick. Without warning, the broomstick jumps into action, whisking Mary over the treetops above the clouds to Endor College, School of Witchcraft. But something is terribly wrong at Endor. Students are taught evil spells, and there are secrets behind every door. When Mary's cat is captured, it's up to her to save him. Again, this is a book that's like just filled with like whimsy and magic and like an interesting world building of magic, because I feel like in the post J.K. Rowling worlds, magic is viewed very differently depending on kind of where you originated from. So if you originated with like the Harry Potter stuff very young, if you originated with like Dungeons and Dragons when you were very young, there's different avenues of magic and magic world building that both branch off of that. But what branches off of Harry Potter and what branches off of D&D are like very different. And I think that's super interesting. So this is, I don't know which one I would say this one branches off of, but this book is very important to me. I read this. I was up till 3 a.m. because I didn't read it until later in the night. It's not a very long book. How many pages do you have? 147. So it's not a very long book. I was up till 3 a.m. reading this book. And when I read this book, like I genuinely felt like the chemistry of my brain was changed. I texted my group chat at 3 a.m. and I was like, hey besties, just so you know, I feel like a different person. I feel like my world has shifted from literally just reading this book. It's incredible. And it means, like, I think with the other books, like, you kind of understand the theme here. This means a lot to me. All right, and I thought I'd throw in a graphic novel just to round it out, because I feel like I picked a lot of books, and then I wanted to pick one of my graphic novels. The graphic novel I picked is Seance Tea Party by Ramina Yee. I hope I'm saying that right. I'm so sorry if I'm not. This book is fucking gorgeous. Growing up is terrible. No one has time to play outside or use their imagination or do anything fun. Who wants that? Not Laura. She's determined to still have fun even after all of her friends seem to fade away with their new interests and new friends. A magical tea party introduces Laura to Alexa, the ghost that haunts her house. Alexa is a kid forever, but what will happen as Laura continues to get older? I cannot tell you how fucking hard I cried at this book. I was sobbing my eyes out by the time I finished it. You need to listen to me. It is exactly what it says on the tin. It's a little girl who feels like everybody up is growing up too fast, and she doesn't understand why everybody wants to grow up so fast, and she doesn't understand why people aren't interested in certain things anymore, and she just doesn't get it. And then she meets this ghost girl who, that's just it, is gonna be like young forever. I don't remember how old they are. She's gonna be like 9 years old forever, and it's perfect because she feels like she finally has somebody who understands. Because Alexa is a little ghost girl and is 9 years old and doesn't know anything else. And then Laura continues to age. I was fucking heartbroken reading this book, but it settled something in me after reading it and being like so fucking heartbroken. This settled something in me. And it's very much that idea of like, I'm Laura, essentially. The idea of growing up and everybody else growing up and having different interests and like getting older and having kids and having jobs is just so fucking like, I've said this multiple times in this video, I'm 27 years old and I still don't want to grow up. I don't want to be an adult anymore. And it's not just like the state of this world, because I feel like with the state of this world and like how I started this video, everybody's going to agree with that and be like, yeah, fuck that, being an adult is horrible. But there's a lot of things that have like happened in my life that I don't want it. I don't want to be older anymore. And there's so many good things that come with adulthood, don't get me wrong, but there is the preciousness of childhood where everything stays shiny and everything stays fun and everything is a mystery and maybe fairies are real, and it's everything that I think this book and like all of the others have really just like instilled, that there's a specific touch of childhood that is always going to be in me, and I want it to reflect on stories that I tell one day. So, Seance Tea Party. Woo! We got a little emotional there at the end. But yeah, those are the books that like, if you don't watch these videos really, if you like don't really want to like listen to me talk about like myself and like my interests and everything, if you want to know me just through storytelling, those are the books you're going to want to read. Between like the queer youth and the absolute whimsy and fun and like supernatural elements, those are the books that I would say that's how you're going to get to know me. You're going to know everything you need to know about me from those books alone. But yeah, and I thought this video would be a little bit of a breather as well, because like I said, I don't know how things keep getting worse, but they do. They keep getting worse, and it's fucking terrifying. And books are always a really nice distraction, and books are always a very nice journey away from the real world. And all of these, I think all of these, even if you want like quote unquote the more realistic ones and you want to just read I Wish You All the Best and Boy Meets Boy because you just want to see like queer happiness, yeah, I get that. I understand completely. These are the books that I'm always gonna like suggest and say go ahead and read them, even if you like in the sense of not like getting to know me. Those are always going to be books that I recommend, because even the beginning of I Wish You All the Best is rough and it's hard and it sucks, and Ben throughout the book deals with their anxiety disorder, but the like queer joy that's in it I think is a decent payoff. It's more intense than Heartstopper, I'll say it that way. There's more negativity than there is like in Heartstopper, but I would put it closer to Heartstopper than I would a lot of other queer books. So if you like Heartstopper and you wanted like I guess angst, if you wanted like more angst, I Wish You All the Best is what book you're gonna want to read. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please leave a like if you enjoyed, and if you have like similar books that you feel like for somebody to get to know you all they have to do is read a book, let me know what they are down in the comments. Again, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye! Gotta go find out what that is.